So today, first day of the Omer, getting started with a week full of working on Chesed. That's the portion that I've taken on to give something practical for each day this week, for each Sphira. Today's Sphira, Chesed Sh'Bechesed, the Chesed within Chesed. First, let's just define what Chesed is. We always talk about it as one of the pillars of our world. Torah stands on three pillars: Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chasadim. Gemilas Chasadim, the act of giving, kindness, loving kindness. But truly to define Chesed is more than just defining the act of Chesed, but to understand the pnimius of Chesed, and that really is the life-giving force itself that Hashem emanates into the world. Olam Chesed Yiboneh. Rav Wolbe explains that Chesed really is something that comes from Hashem himself. He is the one who embodies Chesed. Our whole existence, our whole universe is a creation which is entirely Chesed. Our existence is a Chesed. Hashem wasn't compelled to create us. He didn't need to create us. He wasn't lacking anything. He wanted to give us the opportunity to exist, and that is in itself an energy of Chesed, and that life force of Chesed is itself that which constantly is just pouring into our creation, as our sages say, that we say every single day in our tefillah, Mechadesh betuvoi b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereishis, that Hashem is renewing every day, all the time, with His goodness, with His Chesed, ma'aseh bereishis. This energy, the frequency of Chesed is the most common, the most dominant energy, and the most dominant frequency of energy that there is in our creation. And our goal in working on Chesed, emulating God's ways, is to try to ourselves channel the very life force of Chesed, the very energy that gives life to our whole existence, our whole creation. Chesed Sh'Bechesed, says Rav Wolbe, is before we even get to the act of Chesed, we first have to develop an inner state of Chesed. How do you do that? That's Chesed Sh'Bechesed. The inner state of wanting to be one who channels this force of giving into the world, that begins with the eyes. Ayin Tova, with a good eye, to see that which is good, to notice that which is good. First and foremost, in terms of embodying Chesed, our Chesadim, our acts of Chesed, should be coming from a love of Chesed, from a desire, and from a natural perspective that Chesed is the right thing to do. It's called tzedakah because tzedek, it's right, it's just to give, it's fair to give, it's worthy to give. So Rav Wolbe explains that the Torah teaches us the first and foremost tool in Chesed and in developing Chesed Sh'Bechesed is, it says, Dei mechsaro titain lo in the Torah, that we should be giving to others Dei mechsaro, that which they need. Says Rav Wolbe, what is Chesed Sh'Bechesed? To generate and to develop within myself, inculcate within myself the ability to see other people, to actually see them, to see their existence to the degree that I could know that which they are actually lacking, that which they need, and help them to fulfill it, help them to receive that which they need. That is, Rav Wolbe says, one of the hardest things to do, because our tendency is to project upon others what we think they're lacking based on what we really are lacking in ourselves. And so the real avoda of Chesed Sh'Bechesed is that we have to break that trend of projecting in our own ego, then telling us what these other people outside of us need or are lacking. We have to clear that away. We have to get past our ego and actually be able to look into other people's reality, Dei mechsaro, to see that which they truly need, that which they truly lack, not with that which we perceive initially or with our bias that which they lack. So it's an avoda of getting past our own ego. And with this and developing an ayin tova, the Maharal says we can free ourselves of sinna, of hatred of others, and of all lashon hara and all those types of things that come through speech, because the root of all lashon hara and anything that is an aspect of lashon hara comes from not having an ayin tova. First and foremost, before we even begin acts of Chesed, we need to develop Chesed Sh'Bechesed, the perspective within ourselves of seeing and wanting to see the good that there is and to embody the ability to see that which other people truly lack. Bezrat Hashem, we should be Zaycha.